Happy, marvelous Saturday to you. This is your friend, Dr. Preston Ray Winfrey, and happy post-Thanksgiving to you. How was your Thanksgiving? I hope you had a great Thanksgiving day, great celebration. We had a wonderful day. Ours started, of course, with our Thanksgiving Day worship there at that place we call Pioneer. We had a wonderful time too, I should say. The Lord blessed us. We had a great attendance, and people who really wanted to be there, who were there. We had testimonies. Oh my gosh. You're going to have to go on Facebook and YouTube to see and hear those testimonies. It was a great worship service. And we had surprise guests who joined us for that worship experience, and it was just a great time. And more than all of those things, we had the presence of God's Holy Spirit there in that place, and it was a tremendous time being in fellowship with the saints. And then we just allowed the rest of the day to go as it did. We had the opportunity to see and meet with family, and it was a great fellowship. And then we eventually shut it down for the night. And here we are, today, a brand new day, Saturday. And I'm clothed in my right mind, reasonable portion of health and strength. I have the activity of my limbs, and I'm tickled pink. And how are you doing? How would you describe yourself and your day? How was your Thanksgiving? And more than that, how are you today? Well, I'm going to read your comments, so please do put your comments there so that I can read them. And, some of them I will respond to. As a matter of fact, today I think I would respond to each comment. Okay, I have some extra time on my hand today, and I just really want to do that. Well, today I want to talk about peace of mind, but more than that, how to get peace of mind. We're living in this world today, and that's one of the missing ingredients, peace of mind. How would you react or respond to a nagging person who wants to be a part of your life, but they're always nagging and complaining, and seemingly you can't appease them? Nothing makes them happy. How do you deal with the person who seemingly, when you come around, they're salty and cantankerous and finding fault and picking fights? In life, there are people who hate you for the same things they love you for. They can love you because you have a great personality, but then on the same hand, they despise you because you have a great personality. You seemingly have the ability to get along with others, and that bothers them. It bothers them that you're likable. They like you, but they despise you because others like you. And it's almost as if they could have a control volume button, they'd make sure that they turn off everyone else, and even go to the degree of encouraging others to dislike you and to despise you and to hate you. How do you react, or how do you respond to a nagging person? It's almost as if you don't have any options in life. And can I tell you, countless people are miserable alone. they're just miserable alone with themselves. They can't get along with others, and they can't even stand to be alone with themselves. And some people, unfortunately, they just settle in situations like that. Don't you know some people? Don't you know some real people who really just kind of settle and say, well, I guess this is my cross, so I guess I have to bear my cross. Well, you better check again, because it may not be your cross. It may be your crop that you're bearing, and you need to check the reality station and find out, is this my cross or is it my crop? Crops are things that you plant. Crops are things that you are responsible for, and ultimately you must give an account for your crops. What you put out in life is going to come back. What you plant, it's going to grow. What you fail to fertilize, it will turn into weeds, right? A cross, on the other hand, is something that you didn't ask for, but it comes your way, and you have to deal with it. Good point, right? And so the question is, how much are you dealing with in life that does not belong to you? You have to know what belongs to you and what does not belong to you. Case in point, someone who's just always nagging, someone who don't want to be bothered with you, but don't want you out of their sight. They do what they can. They're calling around, they're checking, they're looking at your Facebook page, they're looking at everything you do, they're following you closely, but they despise you. They can't stand you, and they're encouraging others, be on my side, dislike her. She's no good. He's no good, right? We all know some people like that. And my question is, are you a person who just settles and say, well, I guess it's going to be that way, and you have to deal with people in life, and you don't get a chance to choose who you be around? I beg your pardon. You really do. Now, there are some times when your options are slim, but then you have to really check yourself and ask, am I just going through the motions, or is what I'm dealing with really mine to have to deal with? People, don't you know some miserable people? And the old cliche, misery loves company. Some people, they thrive on being miserable. Their adrenaline really gets pumped up. The more miserable they are and the more misery they can spread and put in your life, I'm here to tell you they will do it unapologetically. And we have to ask ourselves, is this really what I want? Is this what I have to go through? Some things you choose to go through. And then there's some times in life when you say, you know what, that's just not my cup of tea. It's like restaurants. Restaurants, because it's a restaurant does not mean you have to go and place an order in that restaurant. If what they are serving is not what you eat or what you care to have, then you need to know how to opt out. And while I'm there, I would say it's mighty nice to know how to cook your own food so that you don't have to just always be subject to going and making purchases. But we're talking about being miserable. Now, people who are miserable, they don't have peace of mind. They don't have peace in their heart. They don't have peace with others. They find fault on a regular basis. They are envious. They are malicious people many times. And they will do whatever it takes to bring others into that same little hole of misery that they are in. And you need to ask yourselves, is that where I want to be? Is that how I want to be? Haven't you seen people who's unhappy? You know, how many times have you been in public? And particularly, we talked about restaurants, a couple sitting down in a restaurant, just miserable. It's almost as if they can't stand each other, and they are hardly speaking to each other. When the server shows up, they joyfully speak. They put a smile on their face. They place their order. They ask questions. But just as soon as that person leaves, they look back at the person and then look off someplace else. Like, boy, I wish I wasn't here. I wish I could be someplace else. Well, the reality is you really could be someplace else. And why would you settle to go in public and air all of your dirty laundry and be miserable? You can do bad where? By yourself. And so you have to really go and ask yourself, do I have peace of mind? Am I at peace with myself? Am I at peace in this situation that I'm in? How many people are living in conditions right now that they don't have to live in? You know, each time you go around this group, they're putting you down, and you can't do anything right according to them, right? You have to ask yourself, is that what I want to constantly hear? Is that where I really want to be? Someone said, if where you're headed is not where you want to be, why do you keep going there? You have to really be truthful to yourself and say, wait a minute, if it's peace of mind that I want, then I need to check my surroundings. I need to see what's outside of me. And if going to this location, or if doing that particular thing brings me grief and turmoil and chaos, and if that's not what I want for my life, then maybe I need to change directions. I need to do something a little different. You know, again, the question is, are you a person who can live by yourself? Are you content with yourself, with who you are? Now, if in your mind and in your heart there is no peace, there is no tranquility, there is no solace, then perhaps you might want to go and get yourself checked out. Let someone take a look at your mind. You know, sit back and let someone make an assessment of where you are. But at the end of the session, you, my friend, will have to make a decision. Where do I go from here? Do I want to remain where I was, or am I willing to step out and find this peace and tranquility of mind? Solomon in the Bible, he helps any person who needs a different perspective on having peace of mind. You know, if you're alone with yourself, Solomon says, in essence, you're better off by yourself. You know, I know it's fashionable to say, oh, I just want to say I have friends, but friends who's speaking negativity to you 24/7, you really must ask, is that what I want? Is that what I need? Is that how I believe the Lord intended for me to live? And I can tell you, no, the Lord never intended for you to live there. And you know, sometimes we just bring things in and we settle and we just say, well, I guess I just have to take it. A little something is better than nothing at all. Well, I'm going to read to you what Solomon says here in the book of Proverbs, chapter 21. I'm going to read it from 4 different translations. Listen to what he says. King James, he says in Proverbs chapter 21, verse 9, it is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. The New International Version says, better to live on a corner of the roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife. The Living Bible puts it this way, it is better to live in the corner of an attic than with a crabby woman in a lovely home. And the Revised Standard Version says it is better to live in a corner of the housetop than in a house shared with a contentious woman. Now, I just need to tell you, before someone say, oh, he's talking about women putting down wives, and no, this contentious woman is really a neuter term. It could mean anyone. It could mean a man. It could mean a woman, a husband, a wife, a child, a relative, a friend, a live-in partner. He is simply saying, and please understand, he's saying it is better to be alone by yourself and have peace of mind than to live with someone who's going nag, nag, nag. It's almost like a dripping of water on a piece of tin, right? Just tick, 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 and it won't go away. And eventually it just grades on your nerves, and you're like, oh, I think I'm gonna lose my mind. Well, listen, if it is not your intent to lose your mind, then I want to suggest to you several ways that you can have the peace of mind, right? When you don't have the peace of mind, it drives you batty. So what is it that I can do then to have peace of mind? And I am so glad you asked. What Solomon says is, first of all, you need to separate yourself from insanity, right? If you're hanging around insanity, insane people who has short fuses, and you don't want that to rub off on you, save yourself. Run now. Spare yourself. Don't you know sometimes you can have people who are in close proximity, sometimes blood relatives, who you just need to be delivered from, and you just need to run as fast as you possibly can. So the first thing is to recognize when something is insane. Then you need to say to yourself, time's up. I'm out of here. I'm not going to put up with this any longer. I don't have to. I see how they are, but also see the effect and the impact that it is having on me. And you know, birds of the same feather, you're right, they flock together. And so if you don't want to pick up other person's dispositions, those bad dispositions and attitudes, as you say in the hood, those attitudes, then you need to deliver yourself. Separate yourself. Get some space and say, you know what? I think I can do better by myself. I'm going to do this one alone. Second thing that you can do in order to get that peace of mind is you need to start thinking differently. Instead of having a codependency on people, I just have to be around people, I just can't stand to be by myself, then I want to encourage you, look in the mirror and face the person that you really don't want to face, and that is yourself. And begin to say to yourself, you know what? I have been fearfully and wonderfully made. I've been created in the image of God and after His likeness. And God didn't make any junk. When God created me, God said, this is good. He was so pleased. And listen, He's not pleased when we live our lives in the gutter. He is not pleased when we are living in misery and strife and dealing with complaints all the time. No, God, I believe, wants us to have some peace in our lives. And then, you know, the third thing that you need to do is make sure that you're at peace with yourself. You know, sometimes we have those internal fears and fights, and we are combating with ourselves. You know, I don't deserve to have anything better. I don't deserve to be happy. I don't deserve to enjoy an ice cream cone. I don't deserve to go out to dinner because no one is taking me to dinner. Listen, get a hold of yourself. You have some money in your pocket. How about you treat yourself to dinner? Sit down, and chances are somebody will take note of you at peace with yourself eating dinner. And who knows, someone just may walk up to you and say, "Is this seat taken?" And if not, may I join you? Listen, you never know what is out there for you, but you have to be at peace with yourself. No one wants to be bothered with someone who is not at peace with themselves. Then you have to be at peace with others. You have to know your limitations and give people credit for being limited also. People make conscious choices. You know, sometimes their choice is not the best choice, but they make a choice of whether I'm going to be a happy person or sad person. You know, am I going to be content with myself? But listen, you do not have to get in a mix with them. So be at peace with others. If they want to be crazy in the head, put some distance there. Let them be as crazy as they want to be. But free yourself. Solomon said, go to a rooftop, go to the corner. You know, later on, someplace else in Proverbs, he said, it's better to be in a basement, you know, with a dry piece of toast than to sit at a banquet table where there's a lot of strife and contentment. But then, finally, be at peace with God. You know, God is the one who created you. And I know people saying, well, you know, you can't force religion on people. I'm not talking about religion. Religion is man reaching up to God. But relationship is God taking the initiative. You know, while we were yet sinners, while we were yet messed up in our minds, while we were at war within ourselves and at war with others, Christ died. He came through 42 generations and sacrificed his life so that we could have peace and tranquility, so that we could have joy. And if we're saved, so that we can have even joy in our salvation. He did that for us. And so you want to be at peace with God. You don't want to be enemies with God. You don't want to be where you got to ask someone to pray for you. Pray for me. Talk to the Lord. Tell him. No, you want to be on speaking terms with the Lord. And listen, if all of those components that I just mentioned are in place, I'm here to tell you, you will have peace of mind. Listen, I didn't say you will be rich. I did not say everything will go the way you want it to go, but you will be at peace with yourself. And listen, nothing can substitute for peace of mind. You can have money and no peace. You can have good education and no peace of mind. You can have a big home, beautiful automobiles, and no peace of mind. Oh, listen, you can have associates all around you, but if you don't have peace of mind, you will be one miserable person. So I've shared with you how to get peace of mind. But then finally, how do I maintain this peace of mind? Is it possible for me to keep this peace of mind? Oh, I think it is. It's a daily situation that you have to daily know what to separate yourself from. Daily, you have to make assessments. Daily, you have to clean out the junk from the trunk, right? Whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. And if you do, the God of peace will be with you. My friend, I'm going to close right about here. But I just want to say to you, do you have peace of mind? If not, don't you think it's about time for you to have some peace of mind? And listen, I'm going to close when I tell you, one of the best ways to maintain your peace of mind is to keep every piece of your mind. Quit giving everyone else a piece of your mind. Some people love it when you give them a piece of your mind. But you know, because you know it all and because you've seen it all does not mean you need to discuss it all. So choose your words carefully. Choose your company wisely. And above all, be at peace with yourself, the one who gave his life for you, gone back to glory, but one day he's going to come back for all those who love him. So be at peace. Have that peace of mind. Keep your peace of mind. And don't be upset when others are upset with you because they don't have peace of mind and they're upset that you have it. Just enjoy life. Enjoy God and understand that one day we all will have to give an account to our Creator for how we lived our lives. May the Lord bless you real good. Listen, we're going to be in worship on tomorrow, and I want to invite you to come on and be my special guest. And let me just say this, how very grateful I am to you who join us week after week, and for those of you who encouraged us during our 42nd year anniversary there at the Pioneer Church as pastor. It was a great celebration, and I was so very happy with the outcome of it. It was a great celebration, and we were encouraged, and we were blessed. Okay, until next time we get together, may the Lord bless you and keep you real good. If you can be our guest on tomorrow, 9 o'clock a.m., 315 East 161st Place in South Holland, Illinois. And join us back even for our live stream. All righty. Until then, take the Lord along with you everywhere you go. Be a blessing and be a channel of blessing as God has blessed you. Be a blessing to others. Be at peace with yourself, with others, and with the Lord. This is Dr. Winfrey saying, have a great rest of the day. And what you hear playing in the background is Glory to His Name. I'm going to let that play out, and then we're going to book up out of here.